Mama, I know you're not laughing that hard. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Defending Our Community. I'm going to be your co-host this afternoon, Sister Khadijah, and you have Mr. Kevin, who is the actual host. The topic is, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to wake up? And before we address the community, you know it's customary in the African tradition that we get permission to speak. And I would like to ask my mother to give us permission to speak to the community.
You have my permission.
All right, so Hotel Pavarigani, Assalamu alaikum. We having a good and powerful show with you this afternoon. And before we go any further, we want to do a little housekeeping. This is a live segment. You could reach us at 337-366-8951, extension 2. 337-366-8951, extension 2. We want to also send out our deepest prayers and asking people to continue to pray for Koyo, Noah Abraham, which he's known as Koyo, and Nisi Joseph out in Lurville. We're asking for continuous prayers on their behalf and on the families, on the community. Also, this past Friday, we had the opportunity to go and see a great comedy show, Marbuck and Joe, and comedian Jackie Osa, and it was really good in Jeanerette, Louisiana. We had a really good time. I mean, there will be footage that's going to come out, and we want to thank, what's his name? Okay, we want to thank Brother AOC. He was one of the balladeer singers. We want to thank Brittany. Brittany did a good job. Didn't she do a really good job? And we want to thank the performance of Marbuck and Joe, their baby and stuff like that. And they just bringing it out to the club and showing people our different talents. And we enjoyed it to the fullest. Mr. Kevin, our topic is, when are you going to wake up? That's our topic. You know, your wife usually comes up with a good.
Well, good evening, and the show was supposed to be when you gonna wake up.
Okay, how you spell go?
But my director and co-host, they like to be so politically correct.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm giving it to you how it's supposed to come.
Okay.
When you gonna wake up?
Spell go.
Go, us, U.S. Us.
Okay.
I'm tired of hearing black folk complain about every little thing that the so-called white people do to them.
Well,
We do it to ourselves when we don't believe in ourselves. Now, when you gonna wake up and realize black folk before you had it worse than you ever getting right now? But these black folk from back then, what they done was they did something about it. They didn't whine. If the law was incorrect for them, they went become a lawyer to change the rules. If they didn't like the way a doctor did something, they went become a doctor. They didn't whine and complain like we do today and make the white man everything that we are not, so-called. We are just like them. This so we done got to the basis of complaining and whining about, oh, they doing this to us, oh, they doing it to, no, we doing it to ourselves. Because I'm tired of these so-called black leaders who leading you to nowhere. And the thing was wrong with y'all today is that y'all believe in churches, God, and not yourself.
and what is wrong with that, Mr. Kevin?
But you are interrupting me again. I didn't interrupt you. But my thing is, nothing is wrong with that. But when you look in the mirror, who do you see, God or yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you see your black leader or yourself?
I see both. The God that's in me, when I'm looking in the mirror, I see both.
Well, that would make you go dizzy because you're only seeing one reflection of yourself. You can be whatever you want to be. You don't have to have a letterhead. I keep saying this over and over again. You know, and I'm getting tired of whining. You know, we're having all kind of festivals for us to go party to. And we show up broke, complain, new outfits. White folk have their old blue jean, old shoes, old t-shirt on, partying, having fun. But yet still, we have to go buy a new outfit, do our hair, our nails, and now our eyelashes to be somebody. But then you spend almost $1,000 a month on you. But yet still, you can't afford an $8 rent at Housing Authority.
Well,
and I'm not knocking these people. But if you learn how to manage your money, you can be whatever and do whatever you want. Not just your money, your mind too. Stop letting these people tell you what you can and cannot do. It's time for us to wake up and realize we are our biggest problem. You turn on the TV, every night, I guarantee you, 5 to 6 blacks done shot each other. Not white boy shooting black child. Black kid shooting black kid. For
Okay,
what?
and
Behind territory that they don't even own.
Okay, and
When are you going to get tired?
Let us. Are you finished?
I wasn't finished.
Well,
Go ahead,
that's my point. Yes, you may turn on the TV and it's black on black crime, but it's Vietnamese crime,
Nah,
it's Caucasian,
that's
it's
not true.
Caucasian
That's not
crime,
true.
and Kevin. Also, the shooters, when you're going out there, those that are shooting at schools and everything, you have Columbine, you have all of these different schools. When the white kids go out and kill, they don't just kill one person. They're trying to take out 10 and 15 of them. So when you want to come out here and talk like Mr. Know-it-all,
No, I don't
you got
know-it-all.
to. No, yeah, we know that. But when you want to talk
But
like
I do
Mr.
know black
like-
on black
what-
tops every crime they got.
That is not so.
If-
White
well,
on
when you
white
did the
crime,
last poll?
Caucasian and Caucasian. When did you ever done a poll?
Yesterday.
Really?
Really, yesterday. Because every time I turn the news, I got a little paper. 2 more blacks shot.
Yeah, he has a little.
2
bit.
more going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 blacks that lost. And then we complain about the white folk gave them too much time.
And if you look at the statistics, the white folks are the district attorney, the judges. They do give black people 3 times more sentencing than they would a white person. A white person that get arrested and get some type of, he may get a fine. But a black person that go to court, you yourself say, why don't y'all go to the courthouse? Go to the courthouse and see all of the black and brown people that's in the courthouse. You may find 2 or 3 whites to kind of keep things going, but you go to that courthouse with the 16 JDC, the 19 JDC, in Baton Rouge, you go over there, and the majority of people that's in those courthouse are blacks. And why is that so?
Because they are the biggest consumers. They make money off of black folks.
We know
and
that.
I don't blame them for that, because black folks today, not all black folks,
okay,
you
now
educated ones start calling me and telling me, oh, they're not all you. No, they're not all me, because I believe in myself, and I tell everybody around me to believe in yourself and stop worrying about what people do on the side of you. As long as they're not in front of you, you can do what you want. But you see, you got to choose a leader or a speaker to be who you are. You are your leader, you are your speaker. If I don't like what she's saying, I'm going to tell her without saying, oh, I'm sorry, but I think you're wrong. No, I'm going to say you're sorry. Simple as that. And the thing that we don't understand today is we got to stop trying to find leaders and people who can't lead them own self. And we complain about everything. Last week was Cinco de Mayo. Last Sunday. That's the Hispanic holiday. I went to Lowe's, they had a Mexican in Lowe's. I went to the hospital, they had a Mexican in there. Guess what they all was? Off and partying. But they stick together, so I cannot be mad at them. Black folks, we have what day? All kind of festival every month, every weekend. And what we got to do? Go fix our hair, go do this here. We got to look good to go to the festival. But yet still, Monday come, you can't pay your bills. Who you complain to? Oh, this job not paying me. All this, no. Manage. How much did it cost for you to go party that weekend? We had to miss a lot of things when we was coming up. My mom and dad showed me life for what it is, not for what they wanted it to be. My dad worked for a farmer. My mom worked for the farmer's wife. When they got off, they started doing things for themselves until they woke up. And then they started being self-employed with themselves. They could have been rich, but they was honest. Because they followed the book of the Bible. They followed the rule of the taxes. Meanwhile, what they did.
No Bible, Troy D. We're not even going to go there. Your daddy did not follow the Bible. Because
well, like a lot of daddies didn't do. But
okay, all right. Well, then don't come up and put it in as
he did, because he didn't want to cheat the IRS. No matter they didn't work for him or nothing, he still gave them their part of his money.
Oh yeah, afraid of
okay,
jail.
but I'm just saying though.
Okay.
But my thing is,
accurate in your saying.
We got to stop blaming everybody else. We are the only cultural people who either killing ourselves or not being on time for ourselves. The Asian come to this country. What do they sell the most to black folk? Fried food, hair, pig feet, pig lip, everything they could make, they sell it to black folk. Black folk go in their store, complain about the prices, but we'll buy it. And then get mad if they don't treat you right. They don't like you, they love your money. They're not doing no different than the white man or the other man that's in business. Even the black man now is starting to cheat the black man. So we cannot be mad at nobody but ourselves. We either catch up or get out. So if you're not going to start telling the truth about our heritage, then you are the problem. We blame everything and then we compare everything. The Jews had a Holocaust. You don't hear them people crying all the time about what they're doing, selling us diamonds. Buying up all the Wall Street. Buying up all
diamonds that they stole.
Well, whether they stole it or not, black folks still buying it. So it doesn't matter. So we can't be mad at them because they being a little smarter than some of the blacks. But we got to stop pointing the finger at other people and look at our own self. Why I can't do that? You can do that. Stop waiting for somebody to tell you what you need to do. We complain about everything that is possible. The politicians lie to you constantly. You talk about them, then one of them come in your neighborhood, you hugging and kissing him and saying that's a nice man. But meanwhile, he's still raping you and robbing you just like the white man. So you cannot blame yourself but yourself. Now we have to wake up as people to respect our own self to get respect from them. And if we don't do that, then we are almost a gone species. Because if we don't start looking at that, we are our number one killers in our own hood, then we're never going to find a solution to it. And we got to stop making white folks the biggest issue in our life. It's our life, not theirs. Our life. We do what we want with it.
We got to stop making it a big issue.
Yes.
I mean, the only one that I see that makes it a big issue is actually the
black
host.
folk. Black
the
folk.
host.
Black
the host.
folk.
You.
Black folk.
You the host. Now, Michelle Alexander, she wrote the book, The New Jim Crow.
That's my daughter-in-law.
The New Jim Crow, that's not so. The
Michelle Alexander.
The New Jim Crow. And it's a fabulous book. And it talks about Louisiana having the highest incarceration rate in the world. It talks about all kind of fugitive law that automatically that they put on the black folks and everything. And Michelle Alexander, you know, she, about 8 years ago, we went to see her in New Orleans at Tulane University.
You had to pay to go see her?
No,
Oh,
we
it's
didn't
free,
have to
okay.
pay. And it was a powerful presentation. She had a PowerPoint presentation. She spoke. She's an eloquent speaker. And I'm saying this because the new legislation, our legislation just opened up, and we had a good bit of bills that was hold up a second. We had a good bit of bills that a lot of people is trying to get passed. You have vote with Consuela Gaines. You have Kelly. You have a bunch of myself. You have a bunch of other people that are trying to get things passed through the legislation finally. And it was a good turnout yesterday. We also had the young gentleman, the preacher from New Iberia. I can't think of what's the preacher name.
Let's call him a pastor. They all clergies.
Okay. Oh, well, the preacher and the pastor, they came on this morning and they was giving some update. Carla, do you have a question or a comment for Mr. Kevin or myself?
Good afternoon, brother and sister, man. Great show, brother, Mr. Kevin. Brother, Mr. Kevin, if I may, and Sister Khadijah. Great show today. Listen, both of y'all make some fine points, and I understand what Mr. Kevin is talking about. You know, Sister Khadijah, there was another senseless killing last night in Lafayette where a 13 and a 16-year-old killed a 54-year-old man. That's the order of the day. You see the thing with the killings in our community, we feel it much more harder than other people because it affects us in the deepest way because we can't see that most of the time it's people who know each other who are doing these killings. So I understand where some of us will be upset. I'm upset about all these killings in our community, and we got to be able to change that that culture and the mindset of our young people. Because this stuff, I mean, if you go back to the 60s, if you wasn't living in a big city, when in these little small rural areas in South Louisiana, we had that amount of killings of each other for senseless stuff. We had killings, but we didn't have it like for a senseless thing. I also want to segue into this, what Mr. Kevin brought up, and Mr. Kevin is exactly right about. We go up into these hair care products stores in New Iberia and Lafayette. You know that store in New Iberia just opened, and I don't want to mention that store.
Oh, you can mention it, G.
To get AOC in trouble right now until I get clearance from the legal department, Mr. Kevin. I just want to make sure the legal department is okay with me calling one of them stores' name. But everybody know the store in New Iberia, Mr.
Yes.
Kevin. These people made millions and millions of dollars since they got here. They was able to upgrade and move that store from one location, which wasn't doing as much as it's doing now. And now, Sister Khadijah, when you see law enforcement, New Iberia City Police camped in front of that store, you know the money is flowing left and right.
Yes,
and we go to these stores. First of all, these people don't treat us with a lot of respect. They're just not starting hiring black workers because they're making so much money. And second of all, none of that money that we're spending in their stores for these hair care products or whatever they want to call tracks or whatever, none of that money is circulating back in our community on that level. Mr. Kevin, the argument I get from people, well, you know, we go to Walmart. But guess what? Walmart is a global company and it employs a lot of black folk. But these people come centralized into the local economy and target the local economy. They know what they're doing. And they don't give a damn about black folks. And I have to say it. I know I'm one of the most progressive person on the planet, but I know they don't give a damn about it. So we got to blame ourselves when we don't have stores. We have a greater Lafayette Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Southwest Chamber of Commerce that they put on an extravagant banquet, Mr. Kevin, here in Lafayette. When are they going to start incubating these kind of business that can really circulate dollars in our community? I see people getting awards up there I don't see no jobs created by these people. You know, I mean, just make the logical analysis of what this. That's just some more self-aggrandizing organizations like we have a lot in our community. Motorcycle clubs where people don't have motorcycles, but they're putting all their money into a motorcycle club. So, listen, my last point, and I'm going to stop taking up your time, look at what happened with the church burning. We got to blame ourselves for that because we want people who enact racist policies to come and comfort us for the racism that they influence among the people who committed the racism. How in the hell you going to have Mike Pence tell you we are with you, brother, and when his administration is out there calling African country S-hole country, you know what they think about you. So we are some crazy people.
No, say some of us.
And I'm glad your show,
Brother
Mr.
G.
give us the forum to say all
To
what
say
we
that,
J,
not be
Brother J.
edited.
Brother J, say some of us. And how black folks is to blame for the church burning. You lost me on that one.
Listen, sister.
He didn't say about the
First of all,
burning.
I want to thank you for that reference, that second cartoon reference we had one on the show today about thank you, Mr. Know-it-all from Bullwinkle. But look, sister, you exactly. I'm not saying what I'm saying. We got to blame us.
Thank you.
We see these things coming down the pipe. We see racism coming down the pipe. But yet we still trying to get in bed with the same oppressors.
Thank
we
you.
should be policing our own churches, solving our own problems. There should have been many national black organizations coming down instead of Mike Pence to do a photo op for these Negroes.
And don't forget Bob Giles. He now on the team too.
We got politicians too much, politicians and local black leadership too much in the rear end of these politicians. So
And let me say,
so much,
and
Mr. Kevin, for
You're very welcome, Mr. J. You always bring good information,
And-
but you always say what you need to say.
Right,
And my
but
thing
then-
with that
but-
is he's got a good point. We cannot keep blaming other people for our doings.
well, first
what he
of
was
all,
trying to say
none
because
of
you didn't
us-
understand.
No,
right?
I understood. None of us had anything to do with that church bombing, with the burning of those 3 churches. They caught the young man that set those
He didn't mean it
churches
in
on
that kind of
fire.
way.
Yeah, he was saying that we had to take blame. I'm not taking blame for something that I'm not involved with.
Well, I'm not part of no church, so I don't care who
Oh, well, yeah,
burned
you're
the
right.
church.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
Yet
You sure
still,
don't. You're
the
not
thing that
involved in
I'm
nothing
trying to
in the
tell
church.
you is that if there was a God, these churches would have never been burnt.
That's not the point.
Well,
God
you
is
asking
busy.
me, and I'm just saying, God will protect his house. And all I'm saying is if that was truly God's
in
house,
St.
he wouldn't have burned 3 of them.
Well,
But
in
back
St.
to our
Landry
biggest point.
in St.
We
Landry
must wake
Parish.
up and realize that we are the biggest problem to ourselves.
Some of us.
80%, those who
No,
not getting what they're supposed to.
Maybe 10%. Okay, let's go with 10%, Troy.
No, we're not, because I want to ask them that black on black, that shooting last night. Was that black on
No,
black? It
that was white on white.
Oh, white on white? Okay,
Yeah.
well, let me write that down too, because I was about to add to my list. But what I was saying again is that we have to wake up and start informing our own people who are uneducated but refuse to see that they are the light in their own life. We all have a story, but if we don't start telling the story the way it goes, then we're going to be lost in the story like they do us every day and every time. Now, all I tell people is I don't knock people down.
Okay.
I tell you what you need to hear, whether you want to hear it or not. This is what's going on.
Yes.
If we don't wake up and start doing for ourselves, you know, I use my mom and dad as a moral to the story of life. Because without them, I wouldn't be who I am.
Right, because they could conceive you together.
Well, not just that. They showed me what this world is about. If you don't put nothing in it, you won't get nothing out of it. Today, we covered our children and grandchildren because we don't want to show them what's out there. This is what's out there. And you cannot blame one culture of people for you not having a way to go. There's a way for everybody. You got to find your own way. Stop following other people. You know, most people join churches thinking they're going to see God. That's not going to happen. Most people go to churches to try to find God. That's not going to happen. Most people get a leadership from politicians who sells them out. That's going to happen. We being real. And the so-called black leaders that y'all allowing to lead y'all, they lead you into a wall for you to crumble your own self. As long as they get a piece of the cake that the white man giving them over there, they're going to take it and give you some crumbs and then tell you that's all they gave them. It's no different than the house nigga back on the plantation. And this is what our black politicians have become. And I know you say all the time, what about the white politician? They have nothing to do with me. I'm talking about the black politician who's supposed to be helping the people. Now, I don't like to make it a black and white issue because, like I said, there's only one race, and that's human race. There's different cultures. I cannot be mad at the next man because he put in more time than me, and he's doing good. And that's the problem we're having today, because you see people with all kind of materialistic things doesn't mean that they're happy. We got to learn how to make our own self happy and stop relying on people to make us happy. Every weekend we got a festival. The same people who denying y'all minimum wage to go up is the same people catering to the festivals. And who goes sponsor them? Y'all. And I'm not knocking none of these festivals. Because right now, with depression and being so poor, people want to go have fun.
Right.
But it doesn't cost you to have fun.
Right. And one of the favorite festivals that I know you like Boudin. So
I used to like Boudin until they went up on that. That don't make sense. I bought some Boudin crackling the other day. It was $6. And that was like 4 crackers and a half of Boudin. I'm not buying it no more. So my thing is, they woke me up. I would not eat Boudin crackling no more. I didn't even go to the Boudin Fest because of that last price they gave me. So the thing is, we got to wake up and realize they're only doing to us what we allow them. Wake up. They need us more than anything. Rich people wouldn't get rich if it wouldn't be for the poor, uneducated, and ignorance of people. And it's not just black folk, because right now in our neighborhood, we're having more and more white folk coming. Okay. And trust me, they are just illiterate as the black folks. Yes. But yet still they get these chances because of their color. And you cannot be mad at them because the white man gonna put them in something nice because of their color. And they worse than the blacks. So it's not about separating us, it's about us getting together and try to change what they done to us.
Okay, some contradictory stuff. I also would like to say that this is a live segment. You could reach us at 337-366-8951. As you could see, Mr. Kevin is the host. I am the co-host. The show is Defending Our Community. And the topics, when are you going to wake up? And with the question mark, when are you going to wake up? And it's a good topic because in so many different avenues, people do need to wake up. People do need to see the different signs. When you brought up about the minimum wage, yes, the minimum wage, they were voting on that sometime this
Praying
week.
like they was voting on that.
Yeah,
That's
you're
been
right.
happening for
Yeah,
the
you're
because
right,
we
you're
so
right.
gullible.
Yeah,
Even
some of us are
John
gullible.
Bell Edwards talking about giving the teachers raise. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be talking about, it should
Yeah.
be given.
Yeah, you're right.
The casinos right now have been promising raises to teachers in education for the last 30 years.
Yes,
Well,
that's
people
it.
done built motels, hotels, and more casinos than anything, and no money went to the teachers' foundational education.
Right. The
Now,
teachers
my
should be
thing
first
is,
on the
I'm
list.
watching Christians who want the death penalty to stay in Louisiana, but want abortion abolished. I'd rather see a child get killed at birth than watch them grow up to be a man or a woman and get the death penalty by human beings.
Oh, but Troy, Mr. Kevin, that's a slippery slope right there. But it
The
makes
slippery
a lot,
slope is
it
that
do
you
make-
shouldn't be killing
it-
people
That's right.
at the end when you're giving them life at the beginning
That's
because
right.
you're taking it away from them.
It makes
Now,
a powerful point.
well, the point is, if you look at the biggest picture, is that okay?
Representative Landry is the one that sponsored the bill for the death against the death penalty, and Representative Landry is right here from our area and everything. And
But my
they
thing
lost.
with abortion is
It lost the
you're
bill.
taking all the things in education for kids that they don't even give free condoms no more. They don't even want
Yeah,
to give. Well,
they used to
my
give-
thing is
They used to give free.
that's
condoms.
how it was stopping it.
Yes.
But education, they had sex ed in school. Some of the parents who were so-called Christian, who was more nastier than the people that wasn't in church, they the ones started complaining. And my thing is, we got to educate our own people and stop worrying about what they say.
Yes.
So if you're gonna take out abortion and put in death penalty, you're no different than the people who killing the child. Because now you're killing an adult who wasn't educated thanks to you denying all the educational funds that was provided, but yet still you want us to believe in God. And you breaking one of the commandments, thou shalt not kill, but then you turn into the killer.
I think that's the fifth commandment.
It doesn't matter what commandment. I don't read none of them because I don't
you-
believe in none of them.
Okay, you
Because
don't
this
believe
was
in
man
religious-
written.
okay, right.
But my thing is, what makes you the one to be the killer and not be punished? You can sentence a man to life for a mistake that he done, but yet still you can say, may God bless your soul. You're using his name in vain.
Yes.
But then the
it
true
is.
Christian don't even understand it. Mike Pence came down here for election next year.
Right.
And that's to get some of the southern blacks to vote on their side.
Yes. That's why they came with the church burning.
Okay, now you
like
got
if they
Bob
doing so
Giles
very
right
much.
now doing commercials.
Yes.
He wasn't doing it before, but now Mike Pence come, and now all the congregational white people
Right.
who so-called
And-
Christians,
and-
now it's okay, let's donate
And,
something.
and they done collected their 2.4
More than
million-
that, they had to give little fees for people who collected it.
Oh, okay, all
Don't
right.
leave that
Well,
out.
Okay, well then, all right. So they did collect the monies. Now the money is supposed to be divided between the three churches. And one part that I'm saying, those were some really old churches. So when they rebuild the church, they need to have a daycare center, whereas the churches could go back like it used to be at one time. We could have gone to the churches. We could have bring our children there. There were after school. There were all kind of things that was going on. And I'm hoping that when they rebuild these old churches that was halfway falling down, that they also updated totally, put in electronics, put in a computer
Well, that's
room.
a hope you're never gonna see.
Put that could happen, Kevin. That
Not
could
with
really,
these churches today.
Yeah,
We got a church in every block because it's tax free, and we got everybody want to be a pastor because that's the new pimps.
You gotta go to a higher learning to become.
How you learning in self? I
to be-
always did say that. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you believe in something you can't see? You cannot love your neighbor, but you tell your story about God, you can love him and never even met him. That's the thing that is hypocritical to me. When you can't love your neighbor, but you can hear a story about a man who did all these things and fall in love with him, and you cannot see him, but your neighbor right there and you can't stand him.
Well, and that's a good reason, and that's a good reason because your neighbor done you something,
But if you're
probably
a true
have-
believer in God, then God always say turn the
and-
next cheek, right?
But yeah, that's
But that means you're not a good
well,
believe
you know,
in God if
but
you can't
God-
turn that cheek.
Yeah, but God.
I know I'm not gonna turn my cheek. I'm gonna
Well,
hit you in
and
the
then-
same spot you hit me.
and I'm not turning no cheek
Well,
neither.
you're
But
not,
God,
you're not a believer.
I am a believer. Just my presence, just my being. I'm a believer. But then at the same time, you know, God never done anybody anything.
And
You
that's
know,
why I get mad when they use his name in vain. These preachers who selling God instead of telling about God, when you got to give a church 10% of your hard-earned money, and he say that's for the building fund, then something wrong with you if you homeless and you still got to give 10% of your street money to the church. Now, God didn't take money from nobody. The one I read about, I mean, because they got so many testaments about this Holy One, but yet still these preachers are called clergies. They can take the title of preaching, pastoring, and all they want. But the thing is, we got to wake up and realize this is man selling you a story and you buying it. We got our preachers now who swear to God they done met God and he told them they needed a new jet. And what the congregation do? They buy him a new jet. Meanwhile, you got thousands of people in your town homeless. How about say, preacher, won't we go and build a shelter for these homeless people? God would appreciate that. But we don't do that. We say, well, God did tell just him that they needed a jet. And what they do, they give it to him. So right now, the people have done studies on people who don't know about life, and we are the weakest people. Black folks are the weakest people. We are gullible.
some of us. You can't go ahead and group every black person in existence. You have to say some of us may be gullible. Now, Louisiana has the highest incarceration rate in the world. And just last year, well, we down to number 2. But
Because Florida topped that.
But when you look at it, the unanimous grand jury, that bill came into existence, and it is law that at one time, you only needed 10 people to find you guilty. You know, there's a group of 12 people that's on the jury. Only 10 could have found you guilty. So now, today, thanks to all of the hard work that so many organizations have been doing, all 12 have to find you guilty.
People voting for
all
this.
12 have to find you guilty. So you don't have to worry about trying to take a plea or anything anymore.
They ain't got to worry because we still having jury selection. When they got to call you in for jury duty and tell you a story about the case they about to trial, that is jury selection. They trying to see if they can manipulate you to their side. Now, once that stops, then I say we got a chance, because long as there's jury selection, because if you call me for jury duty, court should be that day. I don't want to hear about the story until you start telling me about the story. It's not about let me pick the right people and tell them a story that might make them choose the side.
Now, you know the grand jury is picked by the prosecutor.
Okay.
He goes and he gives his swing on stuff. Well, look, he's done thus. And then you don't even know who the grand juries are. It's supposed to be...
Yes, it's their local friends who going to be
That's
nominated
right.
to come and do that.
That's
so
right.
It's
That's
not
right.
like we don't know, and that's
Yeah.
why this
Yeah,
topic
that's right.
is when you going to wake up. Because if we don't start catching, these little tricks they do to us mentally,
And physically.
physically is locking your mind up. Physically is when they start making you go against yourself. When you start taking plea bargains that you know you didn't do,
Then
they got to you.
16 JDC, 19 JDC, that you know you didn't do.
But that's why they want people illiterate and ignorant. So they can run a story by you, and whatever one you choose is still going to incriminate you.
That's right. One of the greatest corrupt sheriff in existence is Sheriff Ackle, Sheriff Louis Ackle, out in New Iberia,
But he wouldn't be
Louisiana.
doing the things that he did if he didn't have judges
Judges
and DAs behind him.
That's
So
right.
I'm not
Because-
mad at Ackle. I'm mad at the people for allowing the judges that take our tax dollars. When you go to court right now, especially in the city court, this little white guy, Trey Hike, his dad is the one who runs New Iberia.
Trey Hike, you heard, huh?
He's the one right now, no matter how your case fits you,
That's
you're going
right.
to lose.
Yep, that's
I
right.
don't care if you bring a tape showing that the officer did disrespect you. You're lost.
That's right.
Now,
That's
when
exactly
you're going to go to court, what they do is they're going to play like they're hearing your story, and then all of a sudden at the end of it, you got cost of court to pay because you done lost your coat.
That's right. You got cost of court to pay. There's like a good
That's the
60,
game.
60 of them that's in there. Well, you was having court anyway. So why is it that I'm gonna have to pay for the cost of court when you was having court anyway?
Well, how
so
they
when
get
you,
their bonuses?
So when you add that up, you done add up $300
Plus
for each.
400 with
for
a fine you done took that
Yeah.
wasn't even in the book, but now they gonna write it
Now they
because
go
you
right.
paid
That's
for it.
right. That's right. So they're making a complete killing all off the hard sweat
Of poor people.
Of poor people. They're making
And then
all.
gonna ask you if you can pay it today. If not, they'll
We
give
gon-
you 2 extra months.
That's right,
And
that's
if
right.
you don't pay it, they're gonna bring you to jail. So now
But
that's
I'm-
more money to taxpayers. When they go to jail, we gotta feed them, house them, and everything else. And it's still on us.
I'm telling you, if anybody had the audacity to investigate New Iberia, 16
Not
JGC,
just New Iberia, it's in every poor
Lafayette,
section.
that I know that, Kevin.
But we can't keep saying just New It's
No,
all
it's
over
a-
in the poor section.
Right, but if when they say justice for all, if that really existed, then we would have a coalition of people that would be investigating these corrupt people.
It's just for us. We put all.
Yeah, we put all. Carla, you have a question for Mr. Kevin or myself?
Yeah, I'm calling back to direct this a question and comment to Mr. Kevin. Mr. Kevin, you just brought up the issue about the sheriff, and you know there's a big election coming up in Iberia Parish, and you got, I can say the candidates, you got Tony Romero, you got
Ex-state trooper.
Mr. Joe LeBlanc, perennial person, he runs all the time.
Old Christian
You
guy.
got Furnace Pac-Man Martin, the black African American, if we could say that.
Who locking up other blacks, African Americans.
We also got
What's his name?
Furnace.
Murphy Myers. And everybody remember Murphy Myers. He was a Louisiana State police officer and also worked under a couple of previous sheriff departments. So we got basically the same group of people. Now,
Roberta not running?
Mr.
Yeah, Roberta running.
He didn't say
Yeah,
Roberta.
Roberta. Yeah, and as I say, the same group. Yeah, I was
Okay.
up there.
Roberta worked under ACO too. Don't forget to say that. She worked under ACO when he was doing this to the inmates.
Right. And one of the things I want to say is, since we on your show, and I'm glad we're talking about black folks, we could talk about black folks, even though some do not want to talk about their own people sometimes.
Thank you.
When we need to, because in Iberia, black folks are the people that throw each other under the bus.
All the
Some.
time.
We don't call them out.
Some of them,
We don't
some of them,
never
Gene.
solve
Some of
problems
them.
in Iberia.
90% of them.
Some of them, about
90,
10%, Gene. You
90,
can't call all
90.
of us out like that.
Not
Some
you,
of us.
not you, but you're starting to get on the other side. But go ahead, Jay. I get your point.
Well, thank you for being my radio host also and being my principal at school, too. But listen, Mr. Kevin, what I want to say is that this time around, we got to be able to wake, like you say, when are we going to wake up? This is a time when black folks should be demanding that these people all these things that happened in the past, we should be accountable for. They
Thank
should
you.
actually bring that to the forefront. Who do we have as parish president in Iberia Parish? A black person.
Larry?
A colored guy. I call him a colored guy.
Larry, Mr. Richard.
Colored guy, Richard, if you want to call him
I
Mister.
want to acknowledge more so than some of the Caucasians that what happened with law enforcement over the last 20 years. There's a body of work, there's a paper trail, newspaper article, court filings, just anyone look it up, that law enforcement is all screwed up in Iberia Parish, and they seem to think, well, another year with the yo-yo game of put a police department in, take it out, put it in, take it out. They're playing with people's lives.
And our money.
Black folks are complicit in that in Iberia Parish, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe, sister, 10% of us want to fight and
Right.
change the system, but they got a whole lot of
Now
black
you got the right
who
percentage.
haven't woke up yet.
Thank
That's
you.
what I'm saying. My proof is in my pudding. The way it's played out in Iberia Parish over the years.
Yeah, and remember,
That's my comment, sister. Thank you so
all
much.
right, and remember, Kevin, Mr. Kevin, when we went to the meeting for Velma President to help get Velma President street name. Remember when we went to the hearing, the lawyer that represented Iberia sheriff, not sheriff, Iberia
City Police.
City Police.
But a
he
city,
said, yeah.
completely.
Oh, they are in a asset of millions.
45 days ahead of time.
Yeah,
That's the way they look at things.
Right, and they had a surplus, And what he's saying is that, but your surplus is safe right now, but if you want to make sure your surplus continue to remain safe, just have the policemen give out more tickets. Now, we right there in the audience when the attorney said that.
And our black council member, Marlon Lewis, our black council member, such and such, whatever their name, because, what's her name, Sherry Guidry? They didn't say nothing about it.
And the whites didn't say nothing about it
I
either.
wouldn't worry about the white, I'm not in their division, but still, my thing is, when they heard this, like, hold up, we gonna make the poor people pay more. And I guarantee you, a week later, they had a police on Hopkins Street with a radar.
With a radar. They even
For
gave
the poorest section of town always have to pay for the rich side.
Yep, that's right.
And
Gave
that's
you-
where our black so-called leaders or politicians, whatever you want to call them, should step up and say, okay, they're not just speeding on Hopkins Street. Why you don't have it on Amador? Why you don't have it on Lewis Street? And all the above. That's the thing that I don't like, the representation of our black so-called leaders.
And I don't
that's
like-
why I always say, nobody leads me, I lead myself.
And the blacks, if there's 2 blacks, there are 7 whites. You know, the blacks could only do so much.
They can do a lot if they don't join the team with the other people.
You gotta blame the blacks and you gotta blame the whites.
I'm not blaming them white boys at all.
I'm blaming them.
Because if them
I'm
colored
blaming them.
people that's on the force let them white people get in their head, they deserve to be on the other side.
But what do you think collective voting is about? Do you have to have the majority when it comes down to the council?
Where we can get most of our black folks to go out and vote or get registered
They
to
need to be
vote,
registered to
then
vote.
we could do something about it. But us
Right.
complaining and whining, not gonna do nothing about it. This is the topic of the show. Wake up. Our power is in our pen and our pan. We got to sign to vote. And if we don't go and show up to vote, this is how the city police came to effect. Because people didn't go vote.
Yeah, people didn't go
Out
vote.
of 19,000, only 2,500 people voted for the city police.
That's right.
But guess what? Every 19,000 had to pay for it. So the thing was, because you didn't vote, was like voting for it.
Yep.
So don't
yes.
complain when these people
And-
come in your yard and tell you, get out.
That's right. And the way that they talk to you, the way that they still disrespect you. And convicted felons, you're a convicted felon. You've paid your debt to society. You can register to vote. All you need is to have something from your probation officer saying that you've completed your sentence. We have over 80-something thousand or more convicted felons that has the right to vote.
But
They
how
could
many
go
went
ahead and
registered out of
vote.
that 87,000?
Oh, I think maybe 2,000.
Okay, so do you blame the people who run in this
I think-
country? You know, we got the biggest organized crimer, Donald Trump, running this country.
Okay.
But yet and still, he get to pick his own judge.
Okay.
He get to pick his own general that you cannot touch him. And then nobody can tell him how to go. He can't even get indicted because he's so-called a sitting president.
Yes.
So to all those people who think they're making America great, you're lying to yourself, because America has lost more jobs. Most company right now done failed because of this tariff act they put on China. And now you're talking about putting some other China, on Iran, tariff for Russia to start getting the fuel in all contracts.
Yeah.
Now, we dealing with dictators. And we heard about Russia all our life, what they was doing in their country.
Yeah, and to
and
their
now
people.
we got one of Russia's biggest informant, Donald Trump, running this country, and now we're starting to give contracts to Russia. So how you look trying to make America great again if you're losing jobs? Because he never created no job, because Obama still got all his places in, and that's why we still prospering. But if you go in any neighborhood that they just building up, look at all the for sale signs.
And you know
if
what?
you go in any neighborhood, look at all of the small businesses closing because of the tariff act he put.
Right.
You cannot order nothing, because what you order,
An extra tax on it.
well, what you order now to ship it costs more than what it's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
So now they got to go out of business, and who they blame?
And then not only that, when you brought up about this government, and everything, what they do, they try to like continuously distract us. You
And it
know,
works.
I don't give a damn about too much about what's going on in the White House. Why I got to see this news every time you turn around. What about what's in our front door? We don't have enough medical care for our people.
Because
you
they
got
cut all their aid.
you have veterans that are homeless that needs to have
I did see
a
a
house.
commercial. Now y'all can go online and the doctor can look at y'all on video. So they are doing something for y'all veterans who fought for this country. Hopefully they give y'all the right medicine to kill yourself, but still, go ahead on.
Kevin, you know what? I'm really trying to find out. I know it's a misstatement on your behalf because I know you know better than that. But things that are going on in our community, right there in our front door, we need to be more concerned about that. We need to be concerned about roads. We need to be concerned about our children, our schooling, and everything, and
Education, point blank. Our teachers, the
right,
ones who's putting up with y'all children.
Yeah, ones who putting up with y'all children. Hands up, don't shoot. We got to be concerned with all of this. That's
We got to
in
tell
our,
the blacks not to shoot each other. Now, hands up, I'm black, don't shoot. It can't be just for the police. Because black on black, I cannot agree with you on that. Black on black, white cops shooting black kids. No matter how until we see the big picture, we got to understand we are our biggest killers.
And there's
Half
killing,
of them can't read, but yet still they can shoot a gun.
there's killing, white on white.
Not like black on black.
Vietnamese on Vietnamese.
Never heard of it.
Caucasian, I didn't say Caucasians already.
That's damn
but,
white. Yeah, that's damn white.
But at the same time, we have so much things. We need to be trying to get minimum wage up to $12 or $15.
And let the gallon of milk go back down to $2 because they cutting the milk too.
Yeah, I know you liked a lot of milk.
Well, I still like milk, but now I can't drink it as much because of the price.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't leave the milk in the ice box no more because 2
long.
days
It's
it's
raw.
sour because it done cut all the real ingredients.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. We got to wake up. I remember when we had a cow, we had fresh chicken, we had all the egg, we had a hog. We had all that in our yard. So we was happy.
Yeah, because
we came up natural, not knowing we was
didn't-
poor because everything was in our yard that we needed to eat. Now these children today, oh, I don't eat that. See, like my grandmother used to tell me, well, you're not gonna eat. We don't tell that out here. We ask them, well, what y'all want, McDonald's or Wendy's? That's what we do to the children today.
That's what some people do.
80% does that. So we got to put a percentage on that. I mean, that's the problem we have in the day. We show our children and grandchildren how to complain. Listen to me. When I saw white folks trying to keep me down, it made me push myself even more. So I'm not mad at them. I'm mad at the new black folks who think the white people owe them something. White people do not owe you nothing.
Well,
you owe it to yourself to make yourself better.
Well, let's kind of like get something clear up. White folks don't owe you nothing.
They don't.
You know, how you think this country got built if it wasn't from the sweat and equity of black folks?
Ignorance.
How do you
Black
think
folks
this country
allowing
got
them
built?
to
The
control
reason
them.
behind reparation,
Same thing
the
happened
reason
today.
behind reparation is repairing that is due.
They don't owe us no reparation at all. We owe it to ourselves reparation.
Let me say something. If you don't shut up.
You went to Whitney Plantation? Did you go to the Whitney Plantation? I recommend every black parent, and thank y'all white folks who go out there and see that and pay to get in there, because without y'all, Whitney Plantation would have been closed. But take your kids and grandkids to the Whitney Plantation and let them hear some of the black stories as kids. We talking 6 on up. And then when they was 12, they had to kill them because they would start thinking on their own. But the thing is, if you let them see where these children came from, this stuff that they putting themselves through wouldn't even be on their mind.
And you're right. And before the plantations, there were kings and queens. So you just don't just bring up what
kings
happened
and queens
during
who were selling their
slavery.
people for gold.
Some
well,
tried.
Still, we gotta
Kevin,
say everything.
Some, not a few, maybe
that was enough.
maybe 5%. You know,
was enough.
it wasn't much.
Selling their people.
But
black folks selling black folks.
But we deserve reparation, and the
To
reason why
ourselves,
we
not from
deserve
nobody
reparation
else.
is because our ancestors, they took and they built this country. They built this country.
What about the
completely.
Chinese? What about the
You know,
Hispanics? They helped build this too.
and by us building the country, you know, the only thing we got was whippings, rapes, castrations.
Who do you think built all
of
them
that.
railroads? Them
You
Chinese
know,
people.
they
The
didn't
first,
build-
the
they
first
didn't build-
railroads
they-
was the Chinese
Okay,
people
it was the
until they
Chin-
realized how
because they
strong the
couldn't-
blacks was.
They couldn't transport. They couldn't transport the black as quick as
That's
they
what
was
I'm
able
saying.
to transport
So
the
you got-
Chinese.
you know, we-
so
we
when
not
you
the only
hear,
people that these
So when you
people
hear
stole
about
from.
reparation, you need to pay close attention. You got Rosewood, where they took in during the Jim Crow era or right after, they took and they destroyed the whole community.
Because there wasn't no memory of it.
Segregation is one of the worst things that could have happened to us. We had our own theaters. We had our own stores. We purchased items from each other, with each other, and we done that all over. But no, all of a sudden, it's time for us to go ahead and integrate with your side. You know,
And integration was a good thing.
integration was not a good thing
Because a lot
we
of black
lost.
folks started getting with a lot of good white folks who showed them better. So we cannot stop by segregating ourselves. Because even when the slavery, was that lady Harriet Tubman?
Harriet Tubman, the
What's she
Honorable
done? What's she
Harriet
done?
Tubman.
What's she done?
She was one of the ladies that was instrumental in the railroad, in the Underground Railroad.
And she wouldn't have her instrument if it wouldn't be for a lot of white slave owners who allowed her to camp out with slaves.
Ain't
So-
nobody say nothing that white folks had to help out.
Okay, but we got to
You
give
know,
those white folk who
a
help
few of-
acknowledgement. We
a
cannot
few-
be like some of the white folks who don't acknowledge that slavery did happen.
So when it comes down to reparation, you all are y'all financially situated because of
Of us.
the Jim Crow laws and everything. Black folks couldn't own nothing. Today, you could leave your grandchild, your great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, you could leave them something. But like my mother, she can't leave me nothing.
She
Her
left
mother,
you with some bacon tips that you never took.
Tried to,
you just took the candies, but that was it. If you'd have taken the bacon, she left you with a great history of bacon. So don't say that we need these white people to make us who we are. Don't say we need reparation because we got to reparate our own self first.
Our ancestors, they fought so that we could have the advantage of getting repairing this debt that's due. All other culture, the Japanese, through the internment camps, they took and they were given reparation.
No, they wasn't.
Yes, they
gave a loan to them, but they had to pay it back.
That wasn't no loan, buddy.
It was a loan.
That wasn't no loan.
Japanese, China.
They gave
Guess
that
who
to
owns
them.
America right now? China.
Yeah.
A lot of people say I'm stepping on the grave. All I'm doing is opening the grave up so you can see everything. We're not just going to cover everything up. Because
Yes,
if
you are,
we don't
Trey.
start getting together as humans, we separate ourselves when we start complaining about what some white folks did us. We separate ourselves with some Asian do us. We separate ourselves with some Hispanic do us. We got to get together as people.
And it's nothing wrong with separation. I don't like golf. I'm not going to play golf with you. You know, that's
why golf clubs was private.
The things that I enjoy doing is being around my good family members, being around my conscious people. You know,
And that's not a lot of them.
Those people that can help with the education, you know, because we all fall short on where we need to go. But if you have somebody that's in there that's trying to teach you better, then, you know, and some people are casualties. Like Kevin, he's a casualty. You know, but there's going to be
war.
Yeah, there's going to be casualties in everything. You know, just so happen, you know, he's one of them.
I'm one of them who you can't put your sight in my head unless I see it.
And the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks, you know, doctors took her cells from her, and those cells never died. You know, it was a medical revolution, a multi-million-dollar industry.
And she didn't even get paid for it.
Yep, she never got paid for it.
Okay, tell the true story.
If you let me get to it,
So, I mean, the thing is,
she never got paid.
She never got paid,
And
but
her
her
family
blood
members
saved
never
so
got-
many people.
And her family members still never got paid.
And they don't need to get paid. They got paid by this book being written by her. That's your payment.
That's not no
acknowledgement.
payment. And that book was written by Rebecca Scott, and she only wrote the book because she was doing a dissertation, and she
Through that
came
book, they
across.
made a story out of it. It was a movie.
It was a
Right.
movie too.
Thanks to that book.
Oprah played in it, but at the same time, you know, the funds here that went to her. You know, I'm pretty sure How many minutes?
Yeah, 1 minute, but we're gonna talk about her later. But the
Okay,
thing
you
is,
need to
y'all,
close.
we
You
got
need
to
to
wake
close,
up.
Shorty.
And if you're not part of the solution, you are the problem. And happy Mother's Day to my mother and all the other mothers in the neighborhood who helped raise me, to my wife, to all the people that still talk to me. Happy Mother's Day. And some of you mothers, that don't mean because you had kids that you're a mother. But you can go ahead and celebrate. If your mom's alive, go ahead and celebrate.
And I want to show
Mother's
the
Day.
shirt. That's my one of my brothers, Chip. May he rest in peace.
Well, he
I
went to a
wanted
better
share.
place. Called
How would you know it's
where
a
the
better
Christians
place
always say you
if
go to
you-
heaven. But y'all have a happy Mother's Day, and like I
Be
said,
quiet,
stop all the
Charlie.
festivals and get y'all life together. Wake up, man, because we the only people can help our own self. We don't need no reparation. We need us to start believing in our own
Okay,
self.
we do need
That's our reparation.
We do need reparation, and the show is over with. So you don't say another word, Truddy.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah, it's over.